Good morning and welcome everyone to another episode of From the Ground Up, real-time issues and real-time solutions for MWEs, brought to you by Queen Strategy Partners, Nicole Valentine Esquire, Danielle Douglas, and myself, Dr. Stacey N.C. Grant. We are a collaborative group of businesses who understood we're stronger together. So all three of us came together to form Queen Strategy Partners as a way to collaborate, as a way to give back to our communities and show a model of what success looks like when you really do work together. We have an opportunity to share in this show real-time issues and real-time solutions to help you thrive during these very uncertain times of COVID-19, racial unrest, and financial insecurity. The good news is we're doing it together. We don't have to do it alone, and we're giving you the information and resources to help you focus on what's important and how we can come out of this whole experience even better, right? That doesn't seem possible to some people, but for me, the glass is always full, and there's always something that we can focus on and be grateful for. So we're grateful that you're here. We're grateful that you watch From the Ground Up every single Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please take a moment to share this broadcast with individuals that you think could benefit from hearing the information, those who are MWEs, thinking about becoming MWEs, or just really excited about the content that we have shown and shared on this show. So welcome to the show, and I'm going to turn it over to my beautiful co-host, Danielle Douglas.
Well, thank you, Miss Dr. Stacey N.C. Grant. You know how much I love you, so I'm sending the love right back to you today. And we are so excited about this show today. The topic is your collaboration newsworthy? And we have two phenomenal guests who you all are familiar with because they've been on our show before. So they do not need any formal introduction. But the two guests that are with us today, they are here to just build upon the phenomenal show that we had with our other two guests 2 weeks ago. We've been talking about marketing, branding. You know, you have this collaboration going on. You're figuring out that secret sauce of the collaboration. And now you want to tell the world about this phenomenal joint venture partnership and the services and what you have to offer. Well, guess what? These two guests today, Miss Dawn and Miss Tanya, they're going to share their wisdom and their knowledge so that your collaboration is newsworthy. So without further ado, we are going to introduce our guests, Miss Dawn Kelly and Miss Tanya Simmons-Reed. And so, like I said, y'all been on the show before. Y'all are not strangers. You know, you are friends of the show. So we're just gonna let you share a little bit about what you do. We're gonna start with Dawn, because Dawn, she wears a lot of different hats. But she, you know how they say jack of all trades, master of none? That doesn't apply to Miss Dawn Kelly. She's jack of all trades and master of all. So she's wearing a different hat today. She's telling us, you know, she's going to share her wisdom with her PR expertise. And with that said, we're turning it over to you, Dawn, to give a little, you know, tell your story from your PR hat on, you know, your PR story.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you very much to my lovely sisters, Dr. Stacey N.C. Grant and my golf buddy. And also, I want to say thank you very much to Danielle Douglas, my Streetwise MBA leader, as well as a very good friend as well. And Tanya, I want to say good morning to you. I am Dawn Kelly, as they mentioned earlier. I am also known as PR Maven 17 on Instagram because I spent 35 years of my young 58-year life serving as a public relations and marketing executive at a number of entities that you may be familiar with. One is AARP, which is the American Association of Retired Persons. I spent 9 years working for them, publicizing all of the wonderful things that they do for older Americans. As well, I left Aarp, and I came to work here in Jamaica, Queens for York College, which is a 4-year university institution for the City University of New York. And there I promoted all the wonderful things that York College is doing for its adult commuter students, as well as how it anchors the Southeast Queens community and all the things it does for the community. And then after that, I left York College and I went to work for the major financial services firm, Prudential Financial, where I spent nearly 16 years as a public relations executive, publicizing all of the wonderful things that they do around the world. That I would say would be the biggest thing. I've had the opportunity to publicize people, places, and things, not only in America, but in places like Japan, Taiwan, Korea, Poland, Mexico, India, and a couple of more that I can't remember right now. And when I left there, I started my own business. You see my name at the Nourish Spot with my 2 children. And what I did with the Nourish Spot is leverage all of the skills that I had used on behalf of these other entities on behalf of the Nourish Spot. So I'm looking forward to this discussion to talk about how public relations and marketing can help you too make sure that your business stays top of mind for the media.
Well, I just want to add to that, and then we could, is that I think there's something to be said, and one of my favorite words is being intentional. And the thing is, what does that look like? What is important to you? And those are the things that you need to make sure, I shouldn't say need to make sure, but that would bring you that harmony in regards to focusing on the things and giving most of your time and your focus to those things that you find to be most important to you, right? Because you can't be all things. You can't be all people to all things. It can't work. So oftentimes we're trying to manage so many things, but if we just keep our focus on the things that's important to us, then we will feel whole and we will feel that harmony from the inside out. So
Danielle, I said do that. To your point, Danielle. You still heard it?
I think I did have been
Queen Strategy, we're gonna organize it.
Okay.
Believe you all. Well, Ricardi, I don't know if you know me as well, but Hope knows. I'm gonna run with this one right here.
Right.
So we're gonna produce it. I can see both of you being judges. We bring the best of the best in Southeast Queens, and it's a learning. We're gonna have fun because I don't do things if it's not fun. I like to have fun and make money. So we're gonna create an opportunity that we can really see what we need to ready ourselves for. I get to work with Hope on the JFK redevelopment project. We're out here trying to tell businesses about the opportunity. This is a legacy opportunity. To get a chance to get a contract on this development could change the history of a family. You could be that one person, but if we still got the shoebox, we see.
Right. There you go.
Where did you do that?
Where you going?
Right.
Like, come on. One of my mentors, Dr. Frazier, he would say, are you in business or you in fitness? Which one? Right? So you have to figure out what you're doing, and there's so many resources. Push a pin. You heard it first on From the Ground Up. Real-time issues and real-time solutions. We're going to do a Southeast Queens version of it and get folks involved. And hopefully that builds excitement as well when you think about opportunities. Because if you think about all the things that are on the news, you'll be drained.
Right.
You'll be very pessimistic. You'll be thinking that you just throw your hands up in the air. No, money is still being made. Loans are still being funded.
Right.
Money is still being printed. So we want to make sure that we're on the side of receiving it so that we can do more for our communities. That's why we started this show. We didn't want people to think that there was no hope. It's a hard time, and we acknowledge that's a hard time, but we also know that trouble don't last always. In our community, we can do hard. We've done hard before, 400 years worth. We're going to get through the Rona and everything else and be able to be successful, but we have to get our house in order. So, this is real-time show. I need to pause because you said something huge right there. You use video. Did you use your camera phone or did you hire a professional videographer to capture each one of these years? Can you let a sister know? Because some of us think we can go out there with our iPhones and make this thing happen.
Let me tell you, Dr. Stacy, those iPhones are amazing. But no, we did hire Nomad Marketing. We did hire a marketing consultant. But after that, I actually produced all of the shows, and I would hire the models, I would hire the fashion designers. But in reference to videography, we always had a multimedia manager who did all of the videos, did all of the photos.
And it's important, as you go through and, we'll play a little bit more of this, but I know we have another example, but I want people to see the difference in the quality. That when you're building a brand and you're putting something out there are times where it will be organic and you'll use your phone because that's what we should use smartphones for, right? To utilize on the go, people seeing you move. But when you're making a production, and this was a production, and this particular video that we're highlighting is a compilation of a few years. It shows the growth back to what you said earlier, where you started, where you're moving to, and where your aspirational goal is. So the video gives a clean, professional look at the activity. We're watching people interact. You're looking at the brands that you name. So I really want businesses to think about their expenses when you're mapping out expenses. And we've talked about taking a look at your business. It might be well worth putting in some dollars, not only for a social media manager, but for multimedia presence, to have a professional videographer, a professional photographer, so that your images that you're putting out in the world have a certain look and feel to them. You can relate.
I can relate to everything that you just said, because in terms of my why has got to be my family. And once you start on a road to personal development, what happens is you read all these stories about all of these great people in the world, and I like to read what I call origin stories. Like, how did they start? And then when you read these books and you listen to how these people started, you're like, wait a minute, but they started in a situation that's similar to where I am right now. And what you realize is, like, you know what? If I have the courage to go out there and do this, I think that I will be successful. So for me, growing up, I really didn't have any examples of what it was to be an entrepreneur, or even have anyone in my family that had their own business. So literally in our family, besides my lovely wife, we're trailblazers. We're trailblazers. There's really no example. So for me, just like Stacy, if you want to build that generational wealth and you want to leave that legacy for your family, you can't look to anybody else to do it. You have to do it yourself. So really, that's my why. I want to build a legacy and generational wealth for my family.
And we've been true to that, and we want to jump into the question this morning because some people are still on the fence of how they should really be moving forward. And Danielle said it, with COVID and the PPP loans, it brought a lot to the surface. So number one, can you explain what options a business owner has when it relates to establishing payroll? Do they need to hire a company or service, or can they just try to track it the old-fashioned way?
It's interesting. I think one of the things that a lot of people don't even realize is the type of legal entity that you formed when you started business actually dictates a little bit how you do payroll. So a lot of folks nowadays, they formed LLCs because they're very popular. There are a lot less formalities than corporations when you set up an LLC. But one of the things LLCs don't necessarily allow is payroll. So if you are an LLC, from a tax standpoint, the LLC is disregarded and you're treated like a sole proprietorship. So that's one of the things to know, is that the type of entity that you create actually drives whether or not you even do payroll. Now, say you are an LLC, you decided that you want to do payroll, you started off, you didn't know. You can do elections to be treated as corporations for the purposes of doing your payroll. So I just wanted to mention that. And in terms of how or what kind of options you have for payroll, you could do it yourself. You could hire a professional. There are a couple of things you should know based on which route you take. So one of the things that one of the taxes that if you have a liability due that actually pierces your corporation's veil, it's not protected legally, is payroll taxes. Payroll taxes and sales taxes, irrespective of whether or not you have a corporation or LLC, and a lot of us form those to give ourselves protection from liability. If you have those two types of taxes outstanding, they're considered fiduciary taxes, by the way, they will come at you personally. So you want to be careful about your payroll taxes and how you pay them and how you run the payroll. And for that reason, I recommend that unless you have the time to do the calculations, to do the filings on time, you consider hiring a professional. And there are many tools out there. Some of them are relatively inexpensive. I would say that, even for the service providers, if you engage one, the types of service levels are also different. So you have someone who will calculate your taxes and your payroll and tell you, okay, this is the amount for the period, but they may not file the related tax returns. So even when you engage someone, you want to make sure you fully understand what it is that you're getting. So one, consider a professional because you want to make sure it's done right. Secondly, the type of service that you sign up for is important. So we've had clients who use some of the service providers and they provide them the pay stubs, they give them the numbers, but they don't actually file the returns. Filing the returns is crucial. If they're not filed on time, there are penalties that come.
Absolutely. I want to encourage everyone, that second round, third round, wherever we are, if you have not put in for your PPP, deadlines are quickly approaching. I do want to encourage everyone, put it in if you are running your business like a business. So that is one of the things that I do want to shout out with you guys on from the ground up. You guys have been talking about this from inception, bringing on your guest experts, talking about the importance of our women-owned businesses to make sure that we're setting ourselves up. So yes, I am a proud recipient and I am so super elated because don't let the ESQ fool you. I need some points too, so it is what it is.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for having me again this week. It's always a great time to hang out with Stacey and Danielle, all three of you. And yes, this conversation obviously is a passion of mine. And we saw from COVID-19 it being a health pandemic, but also an economic pandemic. And so a lot of business owners and even employees had to find ways to pivot to be able to survive and thrive in this environment. So some of the digital assets specifically that I've seen people do that I wanted to focus on this morning are this content creation. We are all experts at what we do, and sometimes it's easier for some to put it in written format. Sometimes it's easier for a verbal format, or sometimes it's a combination of two, or hosting. You all have great talent in hosting these webinars where you have these dialogues. So there's multiple ways that you can maximize those assets online. And now we've seen it happen over and over again. And just some of the areas that I have done and I have seen tons of people have done. One is the online course. So taking a content area that you're really good at and making a course out of it. And I know for some people it sounds easy, it sounds harder than it is. And in some instances, if it's really not your expertise, you can pay someone to do it for you, or you can do what the secret in the industry is, which I'm letting you all know. No, it's called white label. So that means that someone else actually writes it and you pay them to own it. And then you put your brand on it. And so some people do that. A lot of these big time celebrities don't write all their books or their courses or their content. So just a secret. So, but then you buy it. So you pay a premium for it. Sometimes you pay a one flat fee. Sometimes you pay a monthly fee, depending on what type of product it is. And then you own it. You put your label, you can customize it, you can massage it, and then you sell it. And so online courses, and it runs the gamut. You maybe not have seen, the platform that I'm using is Teachable, but there's Thinkific. They're also been around for years. Coursera, which they offer free courses and paid courses. And I can, send the links to these. But again, the content area, it varies from how to meditate, how to exercise, Mine is personal finance, how to start a business. Some of it is technical. I mean, there are tech people who are making multiple six figures who take these courses, put it on their resume, and they're able to make more money. So you just have to think about, what is my specific area of expertise? What problem am I solving? And how can I get it out to the world in an online course? And the industry, I had to look up the numbers myself this morning, that is a $300 billion, expected to be $300 billion by 2025. So in 2018 is a $190 billion industry. And what I love about online courses is you do the work once and it becomes that passive residual income. So I'm gonna start with the online course because I can go on because I have more. I don't know if anybody has questions.
We're gonna have a little party up in here also. We're gonna make this fun.
Absolutely. That's how we wake everybody up for our show. So we're going to start with you, Pam. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do before we get into all these components of your brand identity.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Stacey. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you for having me. You guys are just party so early in the morning, classes and everything. I just thank you all so much for having me at this Queen Strategy Partners live. Okay. So my name Pam Perry PR. That is really, PR has been my career for the last 3 decades or so. And I love working with authors and speakers. I'm also the publisher of Speakers Magazine. And I also have a podcast called Get Out There and Get Known. My main mission in life is to help other speakers and authors get out there and get known. That's really the main thing. People call me a PR angel because I help people manifest media, traditional media, radio, TV, and print. So my clients have been on everything from CNN and PBS to yesterday, some on BBC, Al Jazeera, Radio 1, Black Enterprise, and the like. So I love helping people get out there and get known.
Thank you, Pam. We'll give you a round of applause. And Danita, over to you.
Hey everyone, thank you so much, Dr. Stacey. I call you Dr. Sunshine, and Danielle. It's such a pleasure to meet you ladies and also to converse with you this morning. Your energy is ecstatic, and I cannot believe it this early in the morning that you ladies are just phenomenal. But it's waking me up, it's waking our audience up. My name is Danita Chantel, and I have a background in medicine and merged over into media, and I'm in the business of people. I love connecting people. I love finding out their stories about their brands, about what they can offer to the world. And I got into marketing and management accidentally. I feel like it was sort of a purpose that I did have, an innate trait, but I got into it accidentally. And when I was working in media, people would always ask me about placement, knowing someone, I'm a connector. And I just started working with people. I consulted with Dr. Stacey a few times because people were always picking my brains, asking for information about how to get placement, how to get visibility, how to strategize and place themselves in the positions that they want to be in. And like I said, I transitioned from medicine to media, and branding was a very important component to finding my identity and placement. So like I said, I'm in the business of people, helping them to put their best face forward and helping to show the world what they have to offer.
And we love it. We're going to give you some applause.
So the same question to you, Stacey, in regards to pivoting. We started talking about that as well with your pivot. So
Structure Beauty and Skin is the base. Was my very first baby and my very first business. And with Structure Beauty and Skin, during COVID, I had to completely shut down. So no contact with anyone, everyone's confined to the homes. And I just kept getting a lot of different signs of, okay, what do you do next? I have a very creative mind, and it's always moving and going. So God showed me something, and he said, you know what, listen, you are here helping people. So what you need to do is continue to do that. So my must-have mineral smoothie business actually picked up. So what I did different was, before people would come and pick up the smoothies, now I deliver them. I started delivering them to people so they wouldn't have to come out. So they would be able to have their smoothies. Then I created the vitamins, And then Black Butterfly, BLK Butterfly came about. And yes, must have minerals, vitamins. Go ahead, Miss Dr. Stacy. Yeah, so after that, then it became Black Butterfly. So I created different lines or streams of income, but first and foremost to encourage others to do so, but also maintain something that I knew that would be enlightening to others as far as health-wise, wellness, and helping other young people, encourage them to do something different with their lives. So Black Butterfly encourages change, transition, freedom, and rebirth. So I created a clothing line as well as the mentoring program for that. So, pivoting was, I guess it's part of being creative and the creative mind. But when you get the real time to sit down and really think about where you're going and what you want to do, the answers will definitely come. And I feel like this was the best time for anyone who had the time to sit down to put their mind to use and create something where they wouldn't have to rely on someone else to help manage their business or doing anything going forward. We all have it in us. It's a mindset. It's just a mindset of doing something different and encouraging others. That's big for me, encouraging others. I think it's important to encourage others. Miss Julie, you said it best. Like, it's really important to encourage our young. I have a 13-year-old and I have a 10-year-old grandson, and my grandson lives with me, and I encourage them. They work for me. So, I let them work for me. So I pay them weekly to work for me. So, and it's important because we need to encourage our young to do things differently and to be better. It's generational wealth that we're trying to accomplish here.
Absolutely. And
management office operational excellence in media, entertainment, investment banking, and healthcare industries. Her passion for information technology was translated into attaining a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science from Hofstra University. Further, by completing an MBA in General Management from Doling College and a Master of Science in Computer Science from NYU Tandon School of Engineering. Miriam Pericles is the CEO and owner of Alpha Omega Consulting, a certified minority and woman-owned business enterprise, information technology firm in New York City, and she's also a member of the Project Management Institute and the National Association for Female Executives. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to the one and only Miriam Pericles. How are you doing, Miriam?
Danielle, how are you? Thank you everybody for giving me the opportunity to participate in this program here and this session here for today. It's definitely an honor. As Danielle mentioned, I met her at the program that was held in Brooklyn. So I snuck into the Brooklyn program, and it was a blessing as I was able to, gain a lot of knowledge that I needed to gain at that time and be able to grow my business from that opportunity.
So Miriam, my first question is exactly what you were about to lead into, and that is, as a business owner, what made you sign up for the Brooklyn Manage Forward Streetwise MBA program?
So, I actually already had my MBA, as you already stated within my introduction, and I had a Master's in Computer Science as well, and I had been in business for a number of years, but still, I felt that I was not as well equipped as I needed to be in order to scale up my business. I also believe that one never ceases to learn, and I was seeking an opportunity to learn and grow my business and not be working in my business and have an opportunity to work on my business. Working on my business would permit me to be able to kind of formulate it in the correct way so that I could construct myself so that I could get additional projects that I was looking to get.
So Mary, I think you said something really, really important. I want to kind of, point it out. You talked about the fact that you got your MBA, right? But this program is about Streetwise MBA, right? It's about, connecting that knowledge that you got with real-time and practical resources and information and solution to take your business to the next level. So did you feel like that was a good marriage between your actual MBA and then the practical information that you got from the program?
Absolutely. You know, as I mentioned, you know, that gave me the opportunity to focus and work on my business, right? I had formed a business, I had grew a business, but oftentimes when you are a small business, you are in the trenches doing the work, you don't get an opportunity to sit down and kind of get the holistic view as to how your business, what your business represents, what the mission of your business is, what the vision of your business is. So this opportunity here was very timely, as it allowed me to kind of step back and look at what I had created and gave me the opportunity to further build it. So my MBA definitely I was blessed to get that, but the Street MBA, you know, allowed for me to spend much more practical time within my business.
Got it. First of all, ladies, all this energy at 9 a.m. I am so excited to be here with the two of you. Listen, all right, if you weren't awake, I hope you're awake now, okay? Because there is so much energy that you all bring to everything that you do, and I'm so happy and glad to be on your platform this morning. So thank you for having me.
Of course.
Thank you. Okay, so back office, and I'm gonna kind of preface that question with what is back office, because I think a lot of people aren't even clear when you say back office. It's such this chunky word. It's like one of the words like systems. What the heck does that mean? You know what I mean? And I think people sometimes get lost in the language, and so they don't really connect with it, right? So back office is everything that allows your company to do the work that you need to do. It's everything that allows for you to have, you always hear the term capacity. That's the reason why a lot of businesses can't participate. They don't have capacity, right? So it allows you to show up with capacity. Back office allows you to leverage your time well and build a team around you that's effective, right? All of these things are needed to drive a business. So I want to start off with saying, I started my firm almost, February will make it 10 years since we've been in business. And I like to always share that I had no money. When I'm talking no money, I'm talking about negative bank account, no money, kind of no money, okay? So I had no money. I didn't know anyone in the city. I didn't have all these connects and resources and so on and so forth. But from then to now, we have built a company that now is in the 1.7% of women-owned businesses across the United States. I'm sharing that to say back office allowed me to do that. And even if you're starting a business from 0.0, I started by myself. Now we have full staff and all of that. If you're starting from nothing and you only have your brain capital, you can do it too. And if you leverage effective back office, you can do it. So what is back office? If I were to break it down, what are the key things that you need when you're thinking about the back office pieces? You need document management systems, you need time management systems, you need cash management systems, and you need communication systems. So I'm going to talk about all those things and then land with one additional system, which is the HR payroll kind of support, okay? So those are the four pieces that make it up. And I don't know if you want me to deep down into what they look like now, or just talk about that as we go along.
No, let's break it down. Let's go through, and what I'll do is I'll be your scribe today. So I'm going to pull up a little screen and I will scribe for you what it is that you're sharing. And we'll start with just some key points so that those who are watching and trying to take notes, that they can manage that. So